Hi, welcome to Chamber of Commerce Connections. My name is Mary DeVries, Executive Director of the Wolfeboro Area Chamber of Commerce. And today we're talking with Aaron Morrissey. Hi, Aaron.
Hello.
Aaron is owner of Morrissey's Front Porch, and Aaron is a volunteer member of the Board of Directors, in fact, president of our Board of Directors this year. And we have an exciting opportunity coming up.
Yep.
The Board of Directors, on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce, invites the public to a trip to China.
Exactly.
And we were introduced to this opportunity through the New Hampshire Association of Chamber Executives. I was participating in a meeting where this company called SitsLink International was with us and making a presentation. And at that same time, I was able to talk with colleagues from all around the state who have experience working with SitsLink International and, in fact, going themselves on a trip to China. And it just seemed like a good fit for us to offer to the community.
It was very good. Yep.
And so we have some important dates coming up, but to tell you about. But first, let's talk about China, because Aaron, you just recently returned from taking that actual tour that we're offering.
Yep, I was able to go on an inspection trip with SitsLink. They offer that to chamber boards and directors across the nation. I was with 14 directors and board members from across the nation, and we took 9 days in China through SitsLink, through this opportunity that we're going to be offering to the community.
And why was that important? How is that helpful to us as far as you experiencing the trip?
We didn't really want to put a big trip out there to the community with the chamber name on it and not understand exactly what it's all about. And now we have very good information to convey to the public.
And right from the start, there was a process as far as registering for the trip and applying for the Chinese visa. And what was that like for someone who hasn't done that before?
SitsLink made it very easy. There was a couple of emails with a checklist of things to do. Obviously, making sure you have a passport is number one, and then you do have to get a Chinese visa. There are options on the Chinese visa. You can get a group visa, which is very easy to do and inexpensive, less expensive, and it's good for just, I think it's 1 year or one trip, I forget. And then there's also getting the normal 10-year visa. Both very easy to do. You have to send your passport, your picture, and a big application just like you would for a normal passport. And you overnight mail it. SitsLink takes care of all the work. They overnight mail it back, and it usually get everything done within 6 to 7 days. Excellent. It was very, very quick.
So again, working with SitsLink, it just makes the whole approach to taking this type of trip very easy.
Yeah, they make the whole process very easy, from getting the visa all the way back to getting back to U.S.
And you are back, so we're glad for that. But so when you arrived in China, you were introduced to a tour guide, I can imagine.
And, Brian.
What was his name?
His English name is Brian.
Brian.
Anyone who goes on the trip will realize that everyone has an English name. Because you can't really pronounce their names, and they don't even introduce their real names usually. You have to beg them and say, "What's your real name?"
So that sounds pretty welcoming.
Yeah, it's great. It's crazy. The culture is very different.
That is really great. And so Brian, he was there guiding you, literally.
Yeah. So SitsLink made it very relaxing vacation. Brian is a native of Beijing. He took us on the 3-day Beijing tour. And just spoke great English, gave us history, culture, geographic lessons on all of our bus rides, and why we were at the certain destinations. Was very informative, fun, joking around. It was just nice and relaxing, and you really didn't have to think about much about your day. You just, make sure you get to the buffet on time so you don't miss the buffet for breakfast, which is very important. And then get on the bus, and then just they do their thing, and then 8, 9 hours later, you get dropped back off at the hotel and get ready for the next day. And it's very stress-free.
It's wonderful. Now, you mentioned Beijing. What were some of the other highlights of your trip?
So in Beijing, we visited the Temple to Heaven. Obviously, the Great Wall was the highlight of the trip. Climbed up to 13 castles, I guess they call them, very high, very steep, but you can go to just one and get great views everywhere. The wall is fantastic, peaceful, lots of mountain ranges, lots of greenery. We took a drive by the Olympic Park that they had in 2004, I believe it was. And they're actually getting one in 2022. We visited the Ming tombs. I guess there's 13 Ming tombs. We visited one of them. That was incredible, where the ancient emperors were buried. And also in Beijing, we got to see the Forbidden City and Tiananmen Square. Unfortunately, we didn't get to walk through Tiananmen Square that day because there were delegates happened to be there at the time we were going to do the tour. So they kept everyone on the sidewalks off to the side. You get to see it all, you get to walk around it all, but you just didn't get to go in the square itself because they were closing it down for the delegates.
And you're kind of referencing this flyer here, which is exactly what the trip that you took.
It's the itinerary.
And it's the one that the Chamber of Commerce is offering to the public. So we have this available to anyone.
Yep.
And
you'll be seeing much more of it.
Yes, yes. And what else, Aaron? Would you like?
So the rest of the trip, we did Suzhou, Hangzhou, which are two sister cities outside of Shanghai. And then we did Shanghai for 2 days. We did an incredible river cruise in downtown Shanghai with an unbelievable light show on the high rises. It's unbelievable, and it was a lot of fun. And we took a ride on the West Lake. That was very relaxing and quaint. Saw a couple of other resorts where the emperors used to vacation, sort of like their summer resort. It was a lot. It was jam-packed. 9 days, 8 days of just constant sightseeing and busing and walking, and it was exciting and exhilarating and tiring all at the same time.
Sounds perfect.
Yeah, it was.
And everyone can actually even hear more about your experience by attending an upcoming meeting that we have, an informational meeting, and you open to the public. It will be 5:30 in the evening on November 19th, and that is taking place at the Wolfeboro Inn. And you'll be there, and representative from SITSLink will be there to tell more about how to register for the trip, and
all the great highlights I missed.
There you go. So please join us on November 19th to hear more about Aaron's trip and to learn from SITSLink how to register for the trip, which takes place in October of 2020. So it's October 15th is the departure date. 2020 is what we're talking about today. Anything else you want to tell us?
Yes,
for now?
you said October. I just remember that they specifically pick April and October as their trip dates because the weather is perfect. It was 75 to 80 and sunny every day, no rain. It was just absolutely perfect. Yeah.
Can't beat that for vacation.
Nope.
All right. So I think, is that
Thank you very much.
everything?
Yeah.
Thank you, Aaron, for telling us all about your trip to China. And once again, if you are invited to be at the Wolfeboro Inn with us on November 19th, and we hope that you will.